What's up guys, Brandon Baldwin here with Gizmo Slip. Today, we're gonna be drop testing the iPhone 6 Plus, and I'm super excited, not only because it's an iPhone, but we're also gonna be filming on a Phantom camera and recording the slow motion at 10,000 frames per second. So shout out to Beyond Slow Motion, which is providing some of the camera work for this episode. Let's get to the drop tests. We realize this is not a fully scientific drop test. However, our goal is just to provide a practical understanding of whether a phone needs a case or not. That said, we always try to have as accurate a drop as possible. That's why we use a plank with a level, so that when the plank swooshes out, the phone falls flat on the back or the face or the corner, which will slide down the side. We also use a measuring stick to keep it right at 4 feet. And we think that's a good general height for most users. That said, let's get to the first drop on the back. Here's the drop on the back in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, let's take a look at the phone. Let's see if it's okay on the back. Looks like the camera has cracked just a little bit. You probably would notice a degradation in the image quality, but not horrendously enough. The camera is not useless, I'm sure. There's lots of scratches on the back here. That said, the aluminum is really not that scratch resistant, that's for sure. But it doesn't feel too bad, doesn't feel terrible anyway. This is still a very functional phone. You probably would be just fine with it. So let's go ahead and move on to the corner drop. 3, 2, 1. Here we go, guys. Let's see how it did on the backdrop. All right, looks like the camera is still intact. The glass in front of it is not shattered. It's got a little bit of scratches around the edge, but that's all. It looks like this leather held up really, really well to the scratches on the back. Like there's no scratches or damage hardly at all, which is not typically what you see on a backdrop. Typically you see a lot more scratches, and if there's glass on the back, usually it shatters. So that's really great. Let's move on to the side drop. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, let's see how it did. It hit more straight on the bottom than it did on the corner. But this, again, is not a scientific drop test. This is a practical one, and that was still a really solid side impact, so we're gonna count that. But you can see that there's some minimal damage right along the bottom there, just some denting, kind of, it's almost like the paint is peeling off. If there's like paint on this, I don't see why this should be paint, but yeah, that's what it kind of seems like. Maybe like the finish on the aluminum is coming off. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's take a look and see how it did at the side drop. Looks like the screen's completely okay. Still works and everything. It looks like we got some damage right here. A little bit of indentation. Looks like it's no big deal. Just a little bit of rust spot right there on the plasticky metal. I don't know if that's plastic or metal. Looks like the stylus still comes in and out no problem. So looks like that's pretty much it. All right, we got a drop on the face. Moment of truth to see how this new iPhone 6 Plus glass does. In 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Well, that was not the best drop test, but it was still pretty good. Oh man, look at that. It's completely shattered. Even though it didn't land perfectly on the face, kind of bounced, hit this corner, and then kind of, man, just the wobble in the screen as it hit the other side. But it shattered on both sides with cracks spreading closer together. Let's see if the phone still works. Phone still turns on. It seems to be functioning just fine, except now the screen is completely shattered. That's really unfortunate. There's some talk of it having sapphire glass, and hopefully sapphire glass would be able to survive a drop test like this. And unfortunately, this did not. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and check it out. What? It's alive and kicking. That is awesome. Like my favorite phone also happens to be durable? What? So you can see there's a little bit of damage along this right edge where the phone impacted. But if you notice, there's actually a little bevel that comes up above the screen. I almost guarantee you that's why the glass survived. That is really awesome. I'm so glad Samsung designed it this way. Well guys, the iPhone 6 Plus did not fare very well when it came to a face down drop test. The metal backing is pretty solid on the side and back drops, but if it comes down to a face down drop test, this thing's going to die instantly. Now you compare that to the Note 3, which had a bezel all the way around it, which enabled it to survive the face down drop test as well as the side drop test. I'd say the Note 3 has a little bit better chance of surviving. So on the desire to have a case rating, I would definitely say get a case for the iPhone 6 Plus, more so than the Note 3 in this case. We'd also like to thank Squarespace. They have helped make this episode possible by providing the iPhone 6 Plus and helping pay for the Phantom rental. So big shout out to them. Just to tell you a little bit about them, they're a company that focuses around easy to use, snazzy looking websites that are versatile from anywhere from an athlete to a musician to a restaurant to a general business owner. All of them are easily applicable inside of the Squarespace domain. If you're interested, go to squarespace.com/gizmoslip and put in the code SLIP, S-L-I-P. Now let me tell you just a hair bit more about them. They basically have this super easy to use website interface where you can click and drag the template around, which is really cool. You're not gonna find that many other places. And you just click and drag it around, drop your photos in there, and it's super easy to use. If you can edit your Facebook profile, you can make a website that looks pretty darn cool, and that's what Squarespace is all about. So if you're interested, again, go use that code and that URL and go check them out. So big shout out to them. Guys, be looking for the destruction video for the iPhone 6 Plus, which will be coming out probably in a few days, depending on when we can get some awesome destruction things planned up for it. Our original plans were kind of canceled, so we're gonna have to go do something else that's equally awesome. So anyway guys, we'll see you around soon. Brandon Baldwin signing off.